The Buddha came to this world as a great spiritual being around the age 563 before Christ. He introduced to the world the teaching of the Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths is the teaching which has remained the essence of Buddhism, and in this very essence it has spread to all the various countries. This essence is basically centered around the human problem, which is the suffering of life. Buddhism emphasizes that life is not confined to simply this life alone, but to a cycle of lives from past to present to the future. Within all those cycles, beings undergo always the very same suffering of unfreedom, that is, they are thrown into birth uncontrolled and undergo the suffering of aging, sickness and death. So from life to life, sentient beings suffer from not having control over that cycle. This suffering is not without a cause. It is caused by the being themselves. So there is no God who created the suffering, but it is self-made. So since the suffering is self-made, it can be undone by the being themselves. And the Buddha's teaching centers around this, how to develop this kind of love and compassion, the state of wisdom in which one will be able to be a source of happiness and inspiration to oneself and others. And then one comes to a point where one will love everybody and be able to wisely instruct everybody, and everybody will love one in return.
The compassionate teacher Buddha Shakyamuni came to this world, more precisely in India, more than 2,500 years ago, and he taught his teachings, Buddhism, which later on propagated to the various Asian countries and eventually to Tibet, becoming the wisdom culture and the art of liberations. Until March 10, 1959, which marks the Tibetan uprising and the complete takeover of the country of Tibet by the Chinese army. At that time, along with His Holiness the Dalai Lama and his retinue, thousands and thousands of Tibetans fled Tibet and went to India. This, that is the tragedy of Tibetans. However, due to the compassionate, incredible activities of His Holiness the Dalai Lamas and many other enlightened beings and lamas, has brought to the West and to the entire world wisdom culture and the art of liberation.
Lama Thubten Yeshe and Lama Zopa Rinpoche have been among the most influential Tibetan Buddhist teachers of the 20th century. Through their skillful methods of communication, these extraordinary individuals have succeeded in rendering the wisdom of the Buddha's teachings accessible to people of many different cultures around the world, thereby bringing greater peace and satisfaction to the lives of countless individuals. In 1969, on Kopan Hill, outside of Kathmandu, Nepal, these two lamas established their first Dharma center, gradually drawing many young Western people to engage in Buddhist practice and meditation. By 1975, 12 more affiliated Dharma centers emerged in different countries. In that year, the Foundation for the Preservation of the Mahayana Tradition, the FPMT, was established by Lama Thubten Yeshe. Today, the FPMT is comprised of over 150 centers, projects, and services in 36 countries worldwide, guided by Lama Zopa Rinpoche, the spiritual director. All of these FPMT activities are devoted to the transmission of the Mahayana Buddhist tradition and values through the media of teachings, meditation, and community service. In the 60s and the 70s, the New Age wave arose not only due to the enormous influence of great beings like Lama Yeshe and Lama Zopa Rinpoche, but this awakening of the West movement grew distinctively out of the yearning of many young people from Judeo-Christian backgrounds who were looking for a new freedom and different beliefs.
And in 1917, June, I left for the Far East, looking for some answers. In 1971, I met my root gurus, Lama Yeshe and Lama Zopa Rinpoche in Nepal. Then in 1974, we invited them in Italy. We had the first course in a Christian retreat place in the north of Italy. But the Lamas really wanted a center to be made, so in 1975 we had a second course in an old hotel, and then Lama gave the name Lama Tzong Khapa Institute, and we incorporated in Milano as a non-profit association. In 76, actually, my father met Lama Yeshe, and I bought this castle. We had the first course in the fall of 76, and then from then on, the center developed. Many years, but a lot of people gave a lot of energy and money and whatever. So this is not the result of my work only, but of a real dedicated group of Italian and foreign international Buddhists who actually, contributed to what you see now. Infinite succession of lives without beginning. Through the Dharma, we can give an end to this cycle and reach eternal peace, not only for ourselves, but for the other being.
So that was around 40 years ago, and it all began here at Lama Tzong Khapa Institute, a place that now has become one of the largest places in the world for the study, the practice, the development, and the propagation of the wisdom culture and the art of liberation taught by Buddha Shakyamuni.
Here at Lama Tzong Khapa Institute, we have a wide variety of courses for people of all different levels of interest. So people who are just getting to know Buddhism and who might just want to know something about the fundamentals can take courses that take place over 2 or 3 weekends, where they learn things like the Four Noble Truths, the life story of the Buddha, as well as basic meditation practices like mindfulness, meditation on compassion, analytical meditation, and various techniques. We have a course called Discovering Buddhism, which is slightly more advanced for people who really want to have a little bit more depth to their understanding, and that's about a 2-year course with 13 different modules, so we cover about 13 different subjects. And that way you get a real overview of what we call the stages of the path to awakening or to enlightenment, and that's called the Lam Rin.
So it was around 1983, inspired by the late Lama Yeshe. We had a meeting and Lama told us here, Lama Tzong Khapa Institute should become the leader in the Western world of the Buddhist education of the wisdom culture and the arts of liberations. So following with that, we start immediately pilot program, then we call it a Geshe program, which has now become the master program, the most comprehensive program of sutra and tantra and the science of mind taught by Buddha Shakyamuni in the Western world.
Since the early days, this center has been extremely involved in the development of advanced study programs for the FPMT. From the very beginning, our resident Geshe Champa Gyatso, who was a close friend of Lama Yeshe, made a promise to Lama Yeshe in that he helped to develop what has become now the master's program in the FPMT, and he taught the entire first master's program from beginning to end here. And at the end, Geshe himself said with a great smile that he had fulfilled his promise to Lama Yeshe in doing so. So this center, Istituto Lama Tzong Khapa, focuses a great deal on offering advanced study programs for those who wish to go deeply into studying the Buddhist treatises, specifically the Buddhist treatises of the Nalanda tradition. This is the essence of our institute, to be able to offer to students a really fine opportunity to study Mahayana Buddhism in depth. We have both the basic program and FPMT study program, which was developed by Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and the master's program. We offer both in English language and in Italian language, so we have quite a variety of students who come and study. We also offer both of these programs as online programs, and we're hoping also in the future to be able to offer in other languages. Together with our programs of philosophical studies, Istituto Lama Tzong Khapa is working towards developing an ongoing Tibetan language program so that students from around the world, and in particular from Europe, who perhaps find it difficult to go to India to study, in order to supplement their studies and be able actually to consult the original texts as a part of their own personal studies of Buddhism, including not just study, but also utilizing the principles of the FPMT that Lama Zopa Rinpoche has made so clear and so important, including meditation and including service. So all of our students also take part in activities of karma yoga, helping the Institute in a variety of ways.
Saggezza tempo telia shidu yore ene dribe gone tempo zisedi nyamne chedris en shebe gone tempo zisedi ta yenle ya longue tonchi malo ba chedris dinza ta nyamne sede pe kechamo chaw yores master program da en busy program en samalo ya shuela en jiranzo da tibo chi jongwa da ji pe ne yong chen mo lo mong lo jong chebe 타미 춤제텔다 가르소리 소소 아니 상지지 템바티 시름이지 보는 진고고레스 스마상보다 냠냐고 지어고레스.
When I finish my studies, I want to go back to work and find ways to put in practice in my professional life what I have learned in these 2 years. I want to see how Buddhist knowledge and wisdom that I acquired over this time can affect positively my professional life. I want to share my experiences with others. I want to support others. And of course, I want to continue to study the Dharma because it's a never-ending learning process.
I studied psychology as I was interested in the study of the mind. While I was studying in the university, I realized that there was something missing in the psychology degree that I found in Buddhism. Buddhism gives us an integral theory of well-being and happiness, and also method that allows us to recognize our inner potential, how to develop it, and also with the wonderful mind of altruism.
Life in Tuscany is wonderful. Here it seems that the time slows down, and it's a wonderful place surrounded by nature, which makes this place perfect to study, reflect and meditate on the teachings. These are conducive conditions to watch your mind, to realize how it works, and then to develop your inner qualities and your full human potential.
Lama Thupten Yeshe's style was non-traditional, yet completely pure in source and content. Lama Zopa Rinpoche's teachings emphasize how we can make every moment in life meaningful through the practice of bodhicitta and wisdom.
So this would be the symbol for Riga.
Wonderful to be a residential student.
We left the city to study Buddha Dharma in a peaceful way.
Within the Institute Lama Tzong Khapa, there are several communities. There are students, monks, nuns, staff, volunteers, people come and go for the courses. So this place is very, very stimulating in the sense that people come here, they can share, they compare, confront, debate about their personal experience of life, different backgrounds, and you can imagine this is very powerful in terms of personal growth. This place offers this opportunity. And for sure, Lama Tzong Khapa is not a place only for Buddhist people, but it's a place for people who want to develop their inner qualities. This is the fundamental answers to the demand, to the question that we have, how to have a happy life.
Rwa ngaranzo nangjo nangla yani sem dang tende drodang mangbo ni sem ge ni thola yani chi so sem sung dang sem ju dang tende thola yani labja mangbo yo yin zang indi thola thona che je so ge ni chi sapsa che ne nyamle che la so ba tende che ba yina sem yar je dra sem sang dra sem lho dra ya de yo yung gu yo res ten sa nangjo na de she ge sha do mangbo de 망부 요래 제대에 있는 거죠. 미세 나로 기부유야 된들 편도 요 싫어 요래서.
The essence of Buddhism being not to harm, the essence of not harming is already great influence on everybody. But this is not so typical for Buddhism because it's also present in other religions. What is more typical for Buddhism is the aspect of wisdom, which teaches how to overcome ignorance, an ignorance that misunderstands how things exist. Buddhist studies comes in to endow one with an understanding of dependent arising, thereby give the foundation of how to act accordingly. So this matches very well with the Western scientific mindedness. This is a very good combination with Buddhist logic and reasoning. The third aspect is altruism. This goes along very well with the Christian Western societies where altruism is a very crucial element. Here, Western culture is a very good background nourishing the thought of being at the service of others.